Hello everyone! New video release and new watch review. This time I've decided to make you a big surprise. This is not a Seiko, but it's still from Japan. Let's talk about the Orient Saturation Diver 300 meters. As usual, if you like my videos, please subscribe to my channel because it's the best way to receive all the updates. Don't forget also to leave me some comments because they're extremely useful for me to understand what is good and what is not good about my videos. Orient is a historical brand producing watches since 1950, currently owned by Seiko Group through Epson, and mainly focused on the production of mechanical watches, although they have also some quartz and some radio-controlled models in their lineup. If you have been following me for some time, I guess that you understood that I'm very fond of the Seiko so-called Marine Master model, so SPDX001, 012 and so on. Well, if I'm thinking and if I'm talking about this model, about the Orient Saturation Diver, and if I had to choose between these two Japanese divers, I would be in a big trouble because this Orient is really an amazing watch. The first generation was released in mid-2000 and it was a little bit different. For example, the bezel had just 60 clicks instead of 120 and it had a different movement, and the logo on the dial was Orient Star instead of just Orient. Two really beautiful models were the one with the yellow dial and the other one with black dial and gold accents that you can see in the pictures. In the following years, some modifications occurred. For example, the first one was the branding that became just Orient instead of Orient Star. And then in 2013, the model EL02 that I'm reviewing now in this video was released. The biggest modification was related with the movement. Now you can find the movement, the 40N5A movement with hand winding and hacking, and 40 hours power reserve. Then they also changed the design of the hands, which is an arrow for the hour hands and sword design for the minute hands. And then they also upgraded the loop because it's much better in this model instead of the previous one. After this brief evolution history, let's get closer to the watch. The box is well made. It's in black leatherette with orange stitching and accents. Inside you can find the watch, of course, a rubber strap, very soft and high quality, and this heavy-duty spring bar removing tool. Unfortunately, like it happens also with Omega red boxes, the leather is a little bit getting ruined as the years are passing by. The watch is really impressive for its size and its look. The bezel is thick and oversized. Actually, everything is oversized on the Orient Saturation Diver. Usually I'm avoiding boring black dialed watches, that's why I decided to go for this off-white dial version, and it's really beautiful with the black of the bezel. The dial is all on the same level, but since the sapphire crystal is more than 4 mm thick, also the dial looks very deep. The indices are obviously very big and they're applied on the dial. Hands and indices have black borders, so reading the time on the white dial is extremely easy. The power reserve indicator is in the upper right corner, while the date is at 9, a very unusual position. This is why this layout is so interesting and it has a very strong character. The logo is quite big, although it's also very nice, and you can read the maximum depth rating in red. Lume is very bright, much better than the one that you can find on Orient M-Force models, for example, and on par with the Seiko Marine Master. The bezel is thick, big and very tight. Clicks are very precise but with a very quiet action. The insert is made of metal with PVD coating and a brushed finish. Numbers are deeply engraved and filled with white paint. I bought this watch when it was released and I have to say that the insert is really scratch resistant. The case looks similar to the Seiko SKX007, 009 and so on, but this one looks like it is under steroids. It's bigger, thicker, but there's a big resemblance for sure. The upper part has a brushed finish with these partially hooded lugs, which comes in handy if you are using some straps without any gaps. The sides and the back are polished. The crown has etched Orient logo and it works flawlessly. The back has this amazing engraved logo, and you can also read helium gas diver. That's because the Orient 300 meters diver is helium tight, so it can be used also for saturation diving even if it doesn't have a monocoque case like the Marine Master. It uses the L-shaped gaskets that keep the helium gas outside, so there is no need of an escape valve. The bracelet has a very traditional design. It looks like an oyster bracelet. Since it has straight hands, you can easily use any other aftermarket bracelet working with Seiko flat bars. Taken from Seiko, it's also the classical system of pins and collars for the links, and the clasp with the Orient logo is exactly the same as the one on the SBDX001. So also here you can find the ratcheting mechanism for the diver's extension. Personally, I'm not using the bracelet because it makes the watch feel very heavy. Besides, I really like the look of the black strap matching the bezel insert. On the wrist, the Orient Saturation Diver is, guess what, big and chunky. 45.7 mm diameter, 16.6 mm thickness, at least 4 of them are for the crystal, and 54 mm lug to lug. These dimensions are not for everyone. Actually, it's a bit too much also for me and my small wrist, but I like it so much that I really don't care. If you use a strap, it's well balanced and not too heavy at all. In conclusion, the Orient Saturation Diver is really an amazing watch. It's built like a tank, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it surviving way beyond 300 meters. The design is clearly Japanese, but it's extremely original with a very strong character. It doesn't get any hints, any design clues from any other Japanese watches or Swiss watches. Accuracy is quite good, even slightly better than the Marine Master, but don't expect some coast performances because this is not the right watch for you. The big problem for this watch probably is the fact that especially this version with the off-white dial is becoming quite rare. So it's not so easy getting a new one with a not very high price. Some years ago you could easily find these watches at around 650 or 700 euros, which was an extremely good price for this kind of watch. But now things are different. I hope that you like this video, let me know in the comments. If you want, you can also follow me on Instagram and the link is down in the description. Thanks for watching, see you soon, ciao!